Hello, friends. Today I'm talking about passive aggressive statements that people that are high on the scale can use. Okay, I want to talk about what they are, what they look like, but most importantly, what you can do about them when somebody is saying them to you. And so that's where narcissistic abuse meets complex PTSD recovery. So often I get people that say, okay, Michele, I get it. That's a passive aggressive statement, or that's a narcissistic behavior. But now what? Like, I can see it. What can I do about it? Well, in this video, I'm going to talk about 3 ways you can handle passive aggressive statements in a way that maybe doesn't change the other person, because guess what? Like, we aren't on this earth or on this planet to be controlling other people. That's their decision, how they want to be. But you can change how you show up and how you feel when they're doing their thing. Okay, so that being said, let's dive in. The first statement that is super passive aggressive is, I'm fine. Have you ever been talking to somebody that's really mad, right? And their veins are popping out of their head and their voice is raised, but they are saying, I'm fine, I'm not mad. Their words and their actions are not on the same page. Or that might be an overt narcissist who's very loud and obviously pissed off, right? But a covert may not have those loud behaviors. But a covert's I'm fine in passive aggressive form would be like them saying I'm fine, but then there's this energy. There's this like heavy energy around them, and they're really quiet and they're really serious and they're emotionally withdrawn. Now, that's passive aggressive because a healthy behavior is to own what's going on inside of you. So if you're upset, then you would say, you know what, this just happened. We talked about it, but I'm not feeling, settled inside yet, or I'm still upset, or I need some time to cool off. Can you just give me some space and we can talk about it in a little bit? That's owning what's going on inside of you. Saying I'm fine with words and having your energy or your body language show something else is passive aggressive. Now, this can be really uncomfortable for somebody that is very empathic. Okay, if you're an empath, you feel people's energy. And so when somebody says I'm fine and their energy is off, it affects you, because not only can you feel somebody's energy, but when somebody's energy, if you have that empathy kind of coexisting with some codependency tendencies, then you feel uncomfortable when somebody's energy is off, or when you think that somebody's upset with you. And it really creates a discomfort inside. And that's where people say that they struggle, because they know the person's not fine, but because their energy is like that, it's messing with their own energy. Well, working through this isn't about them forcing them to not be passive aggressive. I mean, it would be wonderful if we could help them to not be that way, other people. We can't, but what we can do is get you to feel comfortable despite their energy being like that. And that's where we kind of have to focus within. We have to kind of uncover or peel back. Why am I feeling uncomfortable to begin with? What's the story that's going on inside of me as to what I feel or what I believe when this person is having that negative energy? It's really interesting when we start peeling it back, because a lot of the things that are happening inside of us are outdated. Okay. It might be that in childhood, when our parent was having that negative energy, we believed or were made to believe, I'm bad, or I've done something wrong, or I'm going to be abandoned. And so that's the story that was imprinted in the nervous system that can be getting kicked on when an adult relationship is displaying passive aggressive behaviors. And so we're thinking on an unconscious level, I'm bad. If this person has that negative energy, I've done something wrong. And we may not even be realizing it until we bring it into our conscious awareness. So helping you to get to a place that you feel comfortable is about realizing, what are you making it mean to you? What are you making it mean about you that they're behaving like that? And if you can uncover that and put it before you, you can ask yourself if you agree with it. Like, because they're acting like that, does that really mean that you're bad? No. But you won't be able to separate those two things until you uncover it. The other thing that helps is practicing energetic boundaries, which means practicing being able to spot someone else's energy and stay in your own. A couple of weeks ago in the Thriver School of Transformation, we were talking about this. And one of the suggestions that was given was to, on a daily basis, just be around people, or when you're around people, I should say, ask yourself, what is their energy? Are they happy? Are they sad? What am I feeling from their energy? And what is my energy? Their energy, my energy. Start noticing that they can be separate, that they do not have to be the same. When you do that, it'll make it easier when somebody says, I'm fine, and you know they're not. It will make it easier so that you don't make it personal, and it'll help you to be able to stay you despite that negative energy. The next passive aggressive statement is, I was only joking. Now, this is one that is often done right after purposely and intentionally mocking you in a way that they know hurts. So in relationships, this will often happen in a public situation. Maybe your significant other knows your wounds, right? You've shared them. It's normal to do that in relationships. And then in a public situation, they will mock them or make fun of you, knowing that it hurts you, and then turn it around and say that they were only joking and make you look unreasonable, problematic, and they will blame you for being upset at their joke. Now, again, this causes victims of narcissistic abuse or people that grow up with childhood trauma. This is hard because a lot of the trauma that you've undergone because of narcissistic abuse kind of conditions and trains you to think that everyone has to have the same beliefs, the same thoughts. They have to exactly have the same perspective, right? Because if you grew up with a narcissistic parent, there was only one perspective. That was the narcissistic parent's perspective, no one else's. And so you can grow up with that thought. So as an adult, if you know your perspective is that hurt, that was wrong, and somebody else says that's totally normal, like you have a problem for being upset, two things can happen. One, you can wind up getting confused and losing touch with your own reality. You can start questioning yourself, like, am I making a big deal out of that? If you ask yourself, is it wrong that I got upset about that? Or is there something wrong with me for feeling this way? That's because what they're doing by making you feel bad for your own feelings, they're gaslighting you into thinking that your reality, your trust in your own feelings is wrong. So you wind up confused. Or the other thing that might happen is you try to show them your perspective. And you do a healthy behavior with an unhealthy person. Okay, so the healthy behavior is saying, well, when you do this, that makes me feel sad. That makes me feel humiliated when you do this. Telling a healthy person that is a good, healthy behavior. Telling a narcissist that is, one, letting them know what hurts you, and two, it's giving them the opportunity to twist it into making you the problem. The second you say, I feel this, I think that, and you're trying to show your perspective, Somebody that's passive aggressive and high on that scale will turn it around and say, well, that's your problem. You're the one that's too sensitive. You're the one that loves to fight. We're only fighting because you're mad. I was trying to be playful and kind. Okay, so the second you show them you or your perspective, you're going down that slippery slope into a drama battle. So does that mean you sit there and take it? No. A healthy behavior with a person that's high on the scale is to kind of hold up a mirror to their behavior. So if they're rude, instead of saying, I feel hurt, holding up the mirror is to say, that was rude. That was an unkind thing to say. And what you're doing is you're showing them them. Now, does that mean that they're going to handle it correctly? No, they're going to defend themselves and they're going to try to twist it. But because you're focusing on them and not trying to explain you, which is like trying to explain color to a blind person, right? You're able to stay grounded, and they'll try to make all these excuses. Oh, because this and because of that. And all you have to say is, like I said, that was rude. And you just stay focused on their behavior in one sentence. The third and final passive aggressive behavior that I'm going to mention for this video is one that they love to do as well when they can't deny that you've done something good. Okay, so this could be at work, this could be with a significant other, but you've done something, other people are witnesses of it. And they'll say something like, that was shockingly good. Okay, now when that happens, it's like turning a positive immediately into a negative. And then if you get upset, they can twist it and turn it and be like, guys, I was trying to give her a compliment. I was impressed. And I was trying to let her know, why is he or she so sensitive? And again, that's a way of their not wanting to work through their own emotional baggage. They view everything as a competition. So if you do something good, they automatically think they're going down on the scale instead of just realizing that everyone is at the same level. And if someone does something amazing, someone else does something amazing, and that's okay. They can't handle what that brings up inside of them. And so they cause you to feel bad about yourself. They're feeling bad about themselves. They say a statement like that to regulate themselves. So instead of you feeling amazing and feeling great about what you did, now you're feeling bad and confused. And that helps them to feel better about themselves. If that happens to you in the workplace, again, a lot of times what I've found is that people that have been brought up around toxic parents, and they have all of these behaviors that they've lived for a long time, the tendency when they're around a behavior like that and somebody says something like that to them, right? Let's say at work, they say, that was shockingly good. And it's really an insult, right? Somebody that has unhealed trauma, it can really cause you to feel uncomfortable. And it's understandable because it's touching on so much unresolved and unhealed wounds and pains from the past. And what happens, what victims of emotional trauma do, is they may try to get through to that person, again, to try to explain and convince that person of the wrong that they did. And that tends to come from the fact that your perspective was never listened to, your perspective was never validated, and so you're seeking that external validation so that you can feel settled. If you can learn that you can validate you, you will be able to handle these situations when they come up, because guess what? It'd be great to ship them all to an island, but we can't. So you're going to be around people that have these behaviors. But if you can master inner validation, right, where you acknowledged yourself, that was rude, I didn't like it, but even though they said that, I'm happy with what I did. Look what I accomplished. This is awesome. Now you've worked through it on the inside, and it's helped to reground you in staying you, which is feeling good about what you did. If it's a spouse, let's say you cook a meal and you're a great cook and you know it, right? But your narcissistic spouse never says anything good to you. But now you have people over and they're complimenting you. Well, that's going to get under the narcissist's skin, right? Because it's going to make them feel inferior. So they'll throw out that passive aggressive state. They'll throw out that passive aggressive statement instead of owning what's going on inside of them and working through it. They fling it onto you. At those moments, again, you go through the process of that was rude, that was unkind. It's not about stifling what happens inside of you, but it's about when they do that, right? Because you're human, it's going to hurt. But it's about you healing your pain instead of hoping they do. And that's the tendency that happens. We try to get them to see what they did so that they apologize and then we can feel good. And all that happens is you get tons of accumulated, invalidated pain. And again, you can combine it with that was a rude statement, or that was unkind, that was unappreciative. While validating yourself on the inside, what will happen is their passive aggressive will no longer have the power to stamp out your happiness and to cause you to feel emotionally starving. Okay, so try it out, try out those tips, and I would love to know how it goes in the comment section below. And by the way, if you are struggling, always remember that the Thriver School of Transformation opens periodically. Make sure you check the links. And that's where we meet together and we work through the side effects of narcissistic abuse together.